he brings nothing to the table for me. It's just he brings just 25 pounds more in the night, the fight on the night. That's it. But I feel if some promoter, not him because he's nothing to offer me anything.
Canelo, ¿cómo te sientes?
He's nothing to offer me money. You know, I'm the one. I'm the one. So, but if one promoter who I worked to, they come and say, I offer to you 150 to 200 million, I fight tomorrow.
Canelo,
That's the only reason I fight with him, because the only thing he brings to the table is 25 more pounds.
Canelo Alvarez. What the hell are you talking about? Will you stop? That's just BS. Anybody who knows boxing, everybody who watches boxing knows that David Benavidez is the real deal. Now that
First of all, let me stop Stephen A. Smith right there. You know, nothing but respect for him, but he can't even get Jaime Munguia's name right. For example, listen to this. We're going to listen to it at the beginning.
Raul Canelo Alvarez set a steep price for what would be a highly anticipated fight with David Benavidez and has some choice words for the one and only Iron Mike Tyson. Why is that? Tyson was among those who called out Alvarez for a perceived ducking of Benavidez. Following his press conference to announce a bout with Jamie Munguia, Alvarez.
So, for those who don't know, for the hardcore fans, especially in the United States, we know better. We don't listen to Stephen A. Smith about anything when it comes to boxing. Don't get me wrong, he's right now currently carrying ESPN on his back, but I don't consider him hardcore. I'm not saying he's not into boxing. I'm not saying he don't know some boxing, but clearly he don't watch Jamie Munguia's, whatever the hell he says, fights. Because after a while, you start to learn how to pronounce these guys' names. For example, I've been watching boxing so long, especially covering it so long on YouTube, I know how to understand Spanish to an extent. Despite the fact that I identify as being half black, half Irish, and half full-blooded Chicano, I'm not Mexican born. I'm Spanish, American Mexican. So anyway, of course you got the news that Canelo's going to be fighting Jaime Munguia on PBC, on Prime, pay-per-view, and The Zone. That's just a whole different thing right there. It's like PBC can't even secure the fight on their own. On May the 4th. It's going to be for Undisputed at 168 pounds, and to be very honest, I'm giving Jaime Munguia a chance. The problem is Canelo is in a bit of a pickle because what he said about David Benavidez and him coming into the ring at 25 plus pounds. Now, that is true. I'm not saying that Canelo's wrong about that. In my personal opinion, David Benavidez can easily compete at cruiserweight right now and probably be successful at cruiserweight with the current state of the cruiserweight division. But right now, he's a 168-pound fighter, and he is Canelo's mandatory. In fact, I can't even say he's the mandatory anymore because the WBC, they're so scared of Canelo and Canelo bending their belt, that, meaning throwing it in the trash and dropping it, that they would not dare go to Canelo and say, hey, you got to fight David Benavidez or we'll give you 90 days to negotiate. They wouldn't dare do that to Canelo. It's a shame, but that's the politics of the sport. So as we take a deep dive into this Canelo, Munguia, David Benavidez thing going on, let's look at how we got here. So take your time out, like the video, subscribe. I am TstreeT Controversy with Fight View 360.
Thank you so much, Rodolfo. This concludes our press conference. You've heard from distinguished speakers letting you know how exciting, how important, how big this fight is. You're not going to want to miss it. Details once again, it's Saturday, May 4th, T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. Saul Canelo Alvarez defense against Jaime Munguia. 12 rounds for the undisputed super middleweight championship of the world. It is a clash of Mexican superstars, a PBC pay-per-view event on Prime Video. video. Once again, Saturday, May 4th. Fighters are going to be here for photo opportunities. We thank you very much for your attendance on this press conference.
By the way, Canelo got on his lifts. Canelo's listed at 5'9", but he's about 5'7.5", give or take. I think that Canelo is really...
First press conference, Canelo Alvarez, Jaime Munguia, undisputed super middleweight championship on the line. Both these fighters already looking, Sergio, in close to fight shape. What did you make of their first appearance on stage together?
Respectful, very classy, but you know they're Mexican. They keep bringing up that two Mexican fighters are going to be headlining a huge event, and both of them.
I have to mute that. My bad. That music. For some reason, that music the Zone uses gets copyright. So is there a face-off from the first press conference this last Tuesday in Los Angeles? It's supposed to be a press tour, so I'm guessing they're going to do Mexico. This was in LA. I'm guessing they're going to do Mexico and then do New York. I can see that coming up as well. So let's go listen to some things. Here's actually the gist of what Stephen A. Smith had to say about Canelo, but it does make sense. And we're going to talk about David Benavidez and how he is considered a weight bully and how I feel his size is too much for Canelo. But David Benavidez has recently put himself in some hot water, saying that he will accept a rehydration clause to fight Canelo. And I can understand it. I dig it. Listen, he's saying he will do it, but I don't want to hear no bitching or complaining if he loses to Canelo and he tells me some, oh, I was drained, I wasn't used to this weight, because now that he put that out there, I won't be surprised if the rehydration clause is 10 pounds, meaning he can weigh in at 168. He's got to come into that ring no more than 178 pounds. So Canelo, as you can see there on this image here, of this screenshot, he is licking his chops. Coincidence. So let's listen to this right here from Stephen A. Smith, the rest of it.
Canelo Alvarez, you are elite, you are big time, no doubt about that. But it is clear with what you're saying that you are ducking Benavidez, not because you haven't fight him, but because of the words that you're using. He's nothing. He's nothing. You know better. You know better. Fight that man. That is the fight we want to see with you. We don't want to see a fourth fight versus Triple G. We don't want to see you fight another one of the Charlos. We don't want to see Terrence Crawford moving up 3 weight classes to fight you. We want you to
see that fight
right where you are against that dude in your weight division who's been begging for a shot at the crown. David Benavidez deserves that. Anybody who respects boxing knows he should be the man in the ring going up against you. Handle your business. This is part of it. Fight that man. Stop the bullshit.
So the problem is, this is why I can't bail Canelo out in this sense. He's fighting at 168 pounds. David Benavidez is your mandatory, and Canelo knows, as we talked about earlier, that the WBC is not going to strip him. And they're not going to order the fight. He wants to fight Jamal Charlo, who will be moving up from 160, even though, yes, I do feel he can compete at 168 pounds. Jaime Munguia is new to the 168-pound division. You know, hell, it's well known at one point in time that he would have considered a fight with Errol Spence. So I get the concerns of Canelo. Yes, we know it too. The reason why we want to see Canelo, at least me, fight David Benavidez is because David Benavidez is huge. It's like, if Canelo can beat him, man. But David Benavidez also has fast hands and a big punch output. I think he can walk Canelo down, get Canelo on the ropes, and I think he can stop him. Rehydration clause, I don't know. I don't want to see the fight with a rehydration clause, my personal opinion. But at the same time, I do feel, yes, you know, David Benavidez, I won't be surprised if he comes into the ring if it was no rehydration clause at 188 pounds plus for the 168-pound titles. I would not be surprised. He's arguably, and I can say, I believe that he's even bigger than the two top 175-pound champions when they come into the ring, Artur Beterbiev and Dmitry Bivol. And as I said earlier, he can compete at 100 at 200 pounds cruiserweight. But at the same time, I do feel that he earns his shot because Canelo's been a long time 168-pound champion. Let's go check it out. Take your time out. Like the video. Subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at TstreeT Controversy. Let's go check it out here. 62-2, 39 years old, 33 years old. By the way, I do consider Canelo to be a 160-pounder, a middleweight, masquerading at 168. He tested the waters at 175, and well, look what happened. Even though he didn't get beat up due to size, he got outboxed. But now he's run into a guy again, like when it came to Golovkin. Oh, and I got to talk about that. Let's start there. The Golovkin saga. Now, for those who don't know, after Canelo lost to Floyd Mayweather, that fight was at 152 pounds, by the way. He came into the ring at 165, Canelo. He fought Alfredo Angulo. Shortly before that weigh-in against Alfredo Angulo, they changed the contract because Canelo was having trouble making 154 pounds. And guess what? A new era was born. Canelo weight, 155 pounds. Boom. Fought Erislandy Lara next. Highly controversial. I won't be surprised if Canelo. Y'all want to see that? Y'all think if Erislandy Lara beats Mick Zarafa next weekend? Yes, Erislandy Lara's fighting next weekend on March the 30th on the undercard of Tim Tszyu versus Sebastian Fundora. Do you think that? Do you guys want to see that again? Do you think it's too late if Lara says, you know what? Like he want to take the test and step up to 168? Do y'all want to see Canelo Lara too after all these years? What do y'all think? I would entertain that degenerate shit. But anyway, moving on. A new era was born. Canelo weight, 155 for Alfredo Angulo. Erislandy Lara, 155. James Kirkland, 155. This is when, that's my Ring doorbell. This is when Golovkin started entering the mix. Ooh, it's getting juicy. Hold on. So this is around the time when Canelo was starting to get heat for not fighting Triple G. This was at the very beginning. Went on to fight Miguel Cotto at 155. Poor old Amir Khan at 155. And then when the heat got really, really bad and he was about to be, in fact, he was ordered to fight Golovkin. And then he dropped the WBC title and went down to fight Liam Smith. And guess what? He had to get naked on the scales. That's how bad he did not want to fight Golovkin at the time. This was well known. Here, let's go look. Don't mind if I mute this for a minute, but basically, yeah, he had to get up there, get butt ass naked, look all playing with his pipe. He fought Liam Smith for the look. So he was ducking Golovkin so bad that he moved back, then drained himself to move back down to 154, and then look, guess what? What was the next fight? A catch weight of 164.5 against Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. So he bypassed Golovkin again and moved up and tried to start his own division again. Super Canelo, middle, light, middle, super weight is some old bullshit. Then Golovkin. So now he's trying to do the same thing to David Benavidez. Now, mind you, I like Jaime Munguia. When you look at the style that Jaime Munguia brings, 43-0 with 34 KOs, yeah, I think he's going to get knocked out. Anyway, my bad. Phone been ringing off the hook this morning. What I was saying was Canelo hasn't really fought somebody with the come forward, like young fighter, like with the come forward style like that. For example, let's go back to Chavez Jr. could have been that, but basically he just was trying to make weight. Rocky Felding, no. Danny Jacobs, kind of worn, like, I don't, he's a pressure fighter, power puncher. I don't really consider Danny Jacobs a technician. I would consider Sergey Kovalev more of a technician than Danny Jacobs. Tell me how you feel down in the comments. Conor Smith, more of a boxer, puncher. Billy Joe Saunders is supposed to be a mover, got his face broken, haven't seen him since. Caleb Plant, no pop on his punches, mover. Dimitri Bivol, puncher. A technician. Golovkin, well, he just was washed. John Ryder, more of a pressure fighter. Jamel Charlo, more of a pressure fighter, power puncher, but he shit the bed. And Jaime Munguia is see if his chin holds up. We seen him cracked. We see him take clean shots. But can his chin hold up? Can his chin and his body hold up? He's going to beat it. He's going to beat it in Canelo face. I believe he's going to bring Mexican style, but can his chin hold up? No. I don't know. But back to Jose Benavidez. Here's what he said. He wants the Saudis to put up the money. Now, Canelo is saying that it should be 100. He should be paid 150, $200 million. Now, that was some ducking weird shit to say. You're basically saying there's no amount of money that can get me to fighting because ain't nowhere that a Canelo Benavidez fight is generating $100 million. Now, I do feel the longer this goes on, it is creeping up to $1 million pay-per-view by a fight. Put it this way, you know what? I see 800,000. I see around Crawford Spence numbers. I see around 800,000 right there. But it feels like to me, if Canelo had his way, he would fight Munguia, then Jamal Charlo, and then maybe who else if he had his way. I wouldn't be surprised if he would fight, let me see, a Lara again. I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised. Or Berlanga. There we go. We forgot about him. Forgot about Berlanga, the cannibal. But yeah, it does sound like a duck, man. It does sound like he really don't want it. It sounds like he really don't want it. I do think the Saudis can put together the money for the fight. But also, I do think that Al Heyman will prohibit it. And as far as Benavidez saying a catch weight, was like, well, bro, you said it. So now you got to live it. If the fight does happen, Canelo's licking his chops. Like, oh, yeah, he wanna, 178. Boom. I see it. And now he's talking about something he would donate his money. That shit ain't happening. But Benavidez is one of the fights to make right now.
I can make with the other month. I can make with anybody. So that's nothing.
You don't think that's the one of the biggest fights that can be made?
I don't. Maybe. Who knows? But he brings nothing to the table for me. He brings just 25 pounds more in the night. the $5 on the night.
I mean, that's true. You can't argue with that. That is true. You can't argue with that. But, all signs are pointing to that Canelo just don't want to fight. Canelo just don't want to fight. And, but it's like this. Like, I don't care if he's saying, like, well, you the champion of the division. So that weight shit don't mean nothing. You the champion of the division. He's your number one contender, bar none. He is the number one. And then David Morrell is next. He's the number one, but David Morrell needs to fight Berlanga. By the way, there's a rumor going around that David Morrell is going to be fighting Andrade on the undercard of Tank versus Frank Martin, in which Benavidez is supposed to be fighting Alexander Volstik. I don't like that fight at all. Volstik is good early on. He can box, but then later on, 6 and on, he's going to get stopped. Benavidez is going to walk him down, stop him. He's probably going to be ugly, too. Remember, Volstik is the guy who unfortunately damn near killed Adonis Stevenson. Glad Adonis Stevenson is still out there kicking around. But yeah, the walls are closing in on Canelo. Closing in. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. TstreeT Controversy with 5U360.